A young woman finished her shift at a Charlotte pizzeria, but she never made it home. She boarded a Lynx Blue Line train, unaware that it would become the final journey of her life. The seat she chose that evening, an ordinary, harmless decision, turned out to be the fatal moment that ended everything. It's just before 10 p.m. on August 22nd. 34-year-old D. Carlos Brown Jr. is seated on a Charlotte light rail train. Passengers around him notice nothing unusual at first. Minutes later, 23-year-old Irina Zerutska steps onto the train. She's wearing what looks like a work uniform, AirPods in, eyes down on her phone. She takes a seat directly in front of Brown. And then, the unthinkable. Surveillance footage shows Brown quietly unfolding what officials identify as a pocket knife. He stands up behind Irina and in a sudden, horrifying burst of violence, stabs her several times. Investigators say the two had no prior connection, no argument, no interaction, nothing. A completely unprovoked attack. Irina pulls her knees toward her chest, looking up in shock. Within seconds, she collapses onto the floor. Some passengers instinctively move away, not realizing what's happened until they see her fall. Brown walks off the train moments later, blood dripping from his hand. The knife is found near the platform. Irina is pronounced dead. One of the wounds struck her neck. Brown is arrested within minutes and charged with first-degree murder, later receiving an additional federal charge for violence against a mass transportation system. Who was Irina Zerutska? Irina was born in Ukraine in 2002. She studied art and restoration and, after the war began, fled with her mother and siblings to the United States. In Charlotte, she worked at a local pizzeria while studying at community college. Her dream, to become a veterinary assistant. She embraced America. She loved the country that gave her a new start. Her family chose to bury her here, her new home, not in Ukraine. She lived a clean, hopeful, peaceful life. Who was D. Carlos Brown? Brown's criminal record began when he was still a juvenile. By adulthood, he had been arrested 14 times: robbery with a dangerous weapon, breaking and entering, trespassing, assault, disorderly conduct, property damage, misuse of the 911 system, and more. In 2014, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He was homeless, unpredictable, and repeatedly reported to authorities by family members who feared him. His mother tried several times to have him committed. Courts repeatedly released him. His final release came after he misused 911 and signed a no-cash promise to appear, his 14th arrest. He walked free once again. And on August 22, 2025, Irina crossed paths with him. The controversy around the judge. Much of the outrage has focused on Judge Teresa Stokes, who handled Brown's most recent case. Public state bar records show she is not a licensed attorney, which is legal for certain low-level elected judgeships in parts of the southeastern United States. But critics argue the position should never be filled by someone without legal training, especially when decisions affect public safety. His charge at the time, misusing 911, was not severe, but the pattern was: mental illness, homelessness, violent history, repeated arrests, and constant releases. A small bail amount could have kept him off the streets. Instead, he was released with nothing but a signature. A system that failed. Again. This tragedy echoes dozens of similar cases across the U.S. Repeat violent offenders released again and again until someone dies. Courts insist that involuntary commitment requires proof of danger to self or others, yet they routinely ignore obvious signs until after the violence occurs. Brown was a known danger. Judges knew, prosecutors knew, his family knew. The system did nothing. The outrage and the misplaced narratives. Most of the anger, rightfully, targets Brown, the judge, and the policymakers who pushed leniency for repeat offenders. But some voices online attempted to politicize Irina's death, calling her the White George Floyd, posting white squares, or making racial monologues. That comparison is not only inappropriate, it's absurd. Irina was not a criminal. She didn't resist arrest. She didn't provoke anyone. She didn't harm anyone. She was simply going home after work. She deserved safety. She deserved life. Should the passengers have acted? Some have questioned why bystanders didn't intervene sooner. But testimony indicates that many didn't even realize she had been stabbed until after the attacker left the train. Irina collapsed only seconds after the stabbing. Given the location of the neck wound, nothing could have saved her in that moment. This was not a situation where ordinary passengers could have changed the outcome. The only system capable of preventing this tragedy was the criminal justice system, and it failed. What must happen now? Brown represents a continued lethal threat. For the safety of the public, he should receive the maximum penalty allowed under North Carolina law. This case is not an anomaly. It is the predictable result of politically motivated criminal justice reforms that prioritize ideology over public safety. Irina should still be alive, but she isn't, not because of fate, not because of chance, but because of decisions made by people in power who ignored warning after warning. If we want to protect innocent people, we must prioritize incapacitation for repeat violent offenders, strengthen mental health intervention and commitment standards, end automatic, no cash releases for serial offenders, hold judges and prosecutors accountable for negligent decisions. This is not about politics. It is about life, safety, and justice. Irina never hurt anyone. The system should have protected her, and it didn't.